Good morning and welcome to D for Diving's YouTube channel, where today we've been having a little ponder. The conversation we've just been having, and we decided to do as we've done before, which is just stick the camera on and start recording and see if we can recreate the conversation we've just had and kind of fill in a little bit more on it. But it was, what would be our ultimate bucket list dive trip? And so we started to have a chat about the places we wanted to go to and the reasons why we wanted to go there and what we wanted to see. We came up with a list of what would be the 5 ultimate dive destinations that would make the most wicked dive trip we could possibly go on. Now, we had a couple of rules when it came to this dive trip. Number 1, warm water. I don't do cold water anymore.
Yeah, me too.
You've never done cold water?
Yeah, that's why I don't like it. I'm already cold at 26 degrees.
That's true, that's true. So no cold water. So that meant that places like Scapa Flow, gone. But no, not doing Scapa. We also didn't want to do the Caribbean. We live here, it's too close to home. And so it's got to be places that are properly bucket list for us here in the Caribbean. And so, without further ado, our dive trip starts at Socorro Island. Now, Socorro Island is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's part of the an archipelago of 3 or 4 islands that are about 600 kilometers from mainland Mexico, and typically gotten to from Cabo. And so it's known as the Galápagos of Mexico because of its remote location, but also because of the marine life that you get there. If you're one of those people who's lucky enough to have dived Socorro, well done. I'm envious. It's on my bucket list.
So how to get there? Fly to Cabo San Lucas, and then it's a 10 to 24 hours by boat in a liveaboard?
Yeah, so all the diving at Socorro is done on liveaboards. You can't fly directly into Socorro, and there are no hotels or resorts there. So accommodation and everything that we do is from a liveaboard. But most importantly, what is it you're going to Socorro to see? Well, it's one of the few places in the world where you get to dive with giant Pacific manta rays. Now, these beasts are up to 6 meters wide, 20-something feet for those in feet. They're huge. They're also very curious and very friendly. You'll also get a lot of frequent encounters with sharks, whether that be silvertips, schools of hammerheads, or Galápagos sharks too. And from December to March, you'll also see humpback whales, quite often breaching, always spectacular. And throughout the year, dolphins are very common too. But you've got to be careful with the dolphins, as they tend to play a trick on divers. They'll come in close, they'll eyeball you and go eye to eye, and then sink like a stone. And so if you're not monitoring your pressures and your depths, you can sink like a stone very quickly with them, because they're out there to distract you. So be careful with the dolphins, but wonderful. The topography there is also spectacular, as these are relatively new volcanic islands with a lot of vents and a lot of gas coming out from various different spots. It's right up there on one of my bucket list places to go to. So, can we go?
So for our second destination is Truk Lagoon in Micronesia. This is mostly for Gary than for me, because he's very much into wrecks and he loves he has the last for rust.
Yeah, so Chuuk is it's been on my bucket list for a long time, and it's somewhere I definitely want to go to. I do like diving a wreck. I like a bit of deep penetration, but it's somewhere on the CCR I think would be awesome to go to. It's an atoll out in Micronesia. There was a former Japanese naval base where they sunk the naval fleet at the end of the World War II in order that the ships couldn't be captured by the Americans. And so in fairly shallow waters, you've got more than 50 shipwrecks in this relatively small area.
So how to go there? So you just need to fly to Guam and take a short flight going to Chuuk or Truk International Airport. So that's coming from Socorro.
And so if we're coming from Socorro, we'd likely have to go back to Cabo, over to Hawaii, and then down to Guam. It's a heck of a trip, but worth it? Worth it. What makes it so special? Well, obviously, if you're a rust head like me, then you're going to love all of the wreck diving. You will see some creatures down there. You're going to see, you know, some sharks. The two big wrecks, the Fujikawa Maru and
Shinpoku Maru,
what she said, are absolutely stunning big wrecks to go and have a look at. There's also going to be a lot of fighter planes and a lot of trucks and a lot of other goods pieces to see it. Now, we have to be respectful when we're there because it is a war grave and there are a lot of bones and skeletons of crew members that were on those boats when they went down. So it's not really somewhere you should be going trophy hunting, even though I know a lot of people have done that.
So for me, before we can go there, I need to be more comfortable about the penetration because with less than 200 dives, I've never done a penetration.
I'd also want to get you trained up on CCR as well, because I think some of the dives are, to see the best of it, you want to go a little bit deeper, but you definitely want to be able to go a little bit longer. We've got some training to do before we can go there. Now, our next destination is one that I know that Raquel is very keen for us to go to. And we've got some friends who've been there, worked there, lived there, and those images and the photos are stunning. Where's that next location?
Raja Ampat in Indonesia.
Oh, yes.
Raja Ampat is located in the Coral Triangle, in the epicenter of marine biodiversity, formed by ancient tectonic activity creating a labyrinth of islands and reefs. Raja Ampat is home to more than 1,500 species of fish and 75% of the world's coral reef. It's
a very, very diverse environment and colourful. And because of its remote location, it's not particularly overdived yet. So want to see it before it becomes too popular, want to see it before over touristed. So how do we get there? Well, from where we were in Chuuk, we'd have to fly all the way to Indonesia, somewhere like Jakarta or Manado. And then from there, we'd need to get ourselves out to Sorong and on a liverboard out from Sorong up to Raja Ampat.
So Raja Ampat is known for its pelagics like the manta rays and the hammerheads and then the orcas also sometimes, but they also have a good macro and megafauna.
Yep, and one of the places in the world where you can get to see a wobbegong.
What is that?
It's a form of a shark, but it's got the coolest name of any fish species. It's a wobbegong. But it is an incredibly diverse marine life under there and absolutely well worth taking a trip if we can get out there. Now, the next place is a little bit closer to our hearts, and it's a relatively short hop from Raja to another UNESCO World Heritage Site, but this one located in the Sulu Sea in the Philippines, and this is Tubbataha. So Tubbataha is formed from ancient volcanic islands which have now sunken beneath the sea, and it forms two fairly large atolls. As they're protected, you can only dive them during the
March to June.
March to June.
So 4 months in a year.
Yeah, which means that not only is it only accessible by liverboards, but they're really truncating the season that you can go there. And so less exploitation. They have a permanent armed ranger station on the atoll, and any fishing boats that turn up are chased away quite aggressively. Well done, the Philippines. How to get there? Well, from Sorong, we'd have to then fly back to Jakarta and then over to Cebu. Then from Cebu to Puerto Princesa, where we can pick up a liverboard and head out to Tubbataha. It's a 10 to 12 hour crossing, so most of the liverboards do that during your first night. But the Sulu Sea can get a little bit rough, so be ready for a bit of...
Yeah, I need to buy some seasick tablets.
And sleep, yes.
So what's special in diving in Tubbataha Reef? It's one of the best preserved reef system in the world. Like Gary said, it's a UNESCO protected heritage site. You also have a lot of large predators and pelagic species. You can see some giant trevally, tuna, barracuda, hammerhead sharks.
It's that mix and match between the really vibrant coral reef and just the completeness of the ecosystem that's there. And I think you're getting a theme here that we quite like sharks too. So it's right up there with all the places that we'd like to see. And, you know, as we said, mantas, eagle rays, hammerheads again. Really would like to see that on a 5 or 6 day liveaboard.
And they also have a good dynamic underwater terrain. So it's not just the pelagics and like that. They have shallow coral gardens, steep walls, and wreck sites.
That's true. So it's a bit of everything for everyone right out there in the middle of the Sulu Sea. And so our final place that we want to choose, which is a short hop again from Tubbataha, from Puerto Princesa. We go back to Cebu and then catch a bus or a taxi and another little boat to a small island called Malapascua. Now we're lucky enough that this one has been ticked off our bucket list, but I want to go back. So we did Malapascua 18 months ago? Yeah, 18 months ago we went to Malapascua. And the reason why most people go to Malapascua is that it is one of the few places in the world where you can regularly see thresher sharks shallow. They have two shoals, Kimud and
Monad Shoal.
Monad Shoal, that's right. Was it Monad, which had the tiger shark?
Yeah, the tiger sharks used to be in Monad Shoal, but because of the presence of the tiger sharks, they moved to Kimud Shoal.
That's it. So we did most of our diving at Kimud Shoal, and it was quite spectacular. The encounters and the interactions that you can have with these huge thresher sharks. What makes this so special is that there are so few places where threshers go. So threshers are nocturnal sharks. They're typically out at night eating, and they'll come to Malapascua up into the shallows after they've been eating because you have a lot of cleaner fish there and fish cleaning stations that will eat all the parasites and all of the excess food and get the threshers nice and clean before they go back down deep for their sleep during the day. So the diving there is early in the morning. We were up at sunrise to head out, and it is, as I said, quite spectacular.
So the thing with Malapascua, it's not only just the treasure sharks, because like they said, you will go to Malapascua to see the treasure sharks, but you will leave Malapascua falling in love with Gato Island.
Yeah, that's true. Gato, to the north of Malapascua, again, it's a decent boat ride out there, but it's a stunning location with some real good macro life, but also a cave that's got species and species of sharks in there too.
Macros also.
Lots of macro in there. It's just a stunning dive. We were there for 4 days and it just was not enough time. Hence the reason why I definitely want to go back. And next trip to the Philippines, we'll definitely be going back to Malapascua. So as a quick summary then of our ultimate dive bucket list trip around the world, we want to take in Socorro for the sharks and the mantas and the humpbacks. We want to take in Chuuk Lagoon for the wrecks and the sharks. And we want to go to Raja
for the manta,
for the mantas and the shark. And of course all the corals and the macro. And we want to go to Tubbataha. Yeah, it might be a shark there too. And some mantas. And then finally to Malapascua, where we might see sharks again. That sounds like a great trip, doesn't it? Tell us your thoughts on destinations that you would also add or that would replace any of those 5. If we had to keep it just to a 5 destination ultimate bucket list, where would your destination choices be? Bearing in mind, I ain't diving cold.
If you've enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe and hit the notification bell.
And of course, leave any comments below about which destination you would change and what you would change it to. I'm excited now. I want to go on a trip. Can we go on a trip? No. Okay. We're not going on a trip. All right, guys. Stay frosty. Keep diving.